Hi friends, it's Hannah from Handmade by Design, and today I'm going to be making a bonsai tree. The inspiration came from a twig from my backyard that I thought resembled a bonsai. If you don't have a twig that fits the bill perfectly, you can always have a twig, add other twigs onto it, and wrap them on with brown floral tape. I'm putting the tree in a 99-cent bowl from the thrift store, and we need floral foam from the Dollar Tree, nippers. I used Americana Walnut Noyer gel stain. We need a paintbrush. There's our gel stain. I got mine at Michael's. Your inspiration bonsai tree or a bonsai tree that you put together. This one has too many twigs, but I'm not going to cut them off until I'm sure. I found these wonderful pieces of greenery at AliExpress for $1.02 each. We also need floral foam from the Dollar Tree. I used a moss mat from the Tablecloth Factory, and it was a great price. I used a tray that was a thrift find that I paid a couple of bucks for, and I had my own stash of rocks, but you can get them from Temu for a couple of dollars, and I used a Japanese figurine from my stash. Hot glued the floral foam onto the bottom of the bowl. And next, I hot glued my bonsai tree to the top of it. I did not want to insert it into the foam because I loved the way that the bottom of it looked like large, gnarly branches from a real bonsai tree that were coming up from the ground. So I just used hot glue, and I put plenty of hot glue around it, and I held it into place until it was completely set. I hold the glue until it sets, and once it sets, you're good to go. And you can see here what I mean about the bottom of the tree looking like it has roots growing out from the ground. And to me, that's what makes the bonsai tree look ancient. I used the gel stain and I painted the entire tree. I was careful not to miss the undersides and the backsides of the branches. I love the way the dark branches and the dark trunk came out. All of the bonsai trees that I looked at online, the juniper bonsai trees, had the dark branches. These bonsai branches were so wonderful to work with. They were thick and beautiful and bendable, and they stayed where you placed them. I couldn't be happier with these bonsai branches. They're just wonderful. On one of the bonsai branches, I completely disassembled all of the greenery, and on a smaller branch, I individually glued each piece of greenery to the branch and to other pieces of greenery, and I also love the outcome of that. However, I just used that process on one branch, and on the whole rest of the bonsai tree, all I did was cut pieces off of the bonsai branches rather than cutting off all of the greenery and putting it on one small piece at a time. I'm going to take off the large branch that I dry fit behind the individual ones that I glued together so that you can see how it turned out. And I'm really happy with the outcome of this branch. I add hot glue to the large branch behind where I just glued the small pieces, and I apply an entire bonsai branch onto the branch. I hold it till the glue is set, and once I'm satisfied, I remove a branch that I'm sure that I am not going to be using. And every twig and small branch that I cut off from the bonsai tree, I save it and put aside. I added a second large branch, and now I'm adding a portion of a branch, and I'm going to apply it to the branches on the tree. Right now, I'm just dry fitting all of the branches onto the tree until I'm 100% certain that I want all of the branches to stay permanently where I place them. It's just amazing, but using partial pieces of the entire bonsai branches, this bonsai tree begins to take shape very quickly, and it begins to look beautiful very quickly. I have a better idea of where I want the branches to permanently go, so I go in and I trim off another branch. And I use these branches later on to add on to the bottom of the bonsai tree to make it look like there are more roots. I continue trimming off more branches. And where you trim the branches off your bonsai tree is simply a matter of personal preference. I looked at a lot of bonsai trees online before I had a firm idea of what I wanted my tree to look like. And I also tried to work within the parameters of how the branches were already formed. Now that I'm certain that I have the pieces where I want them, I begin to hot glue them to the branches of the tree. And my bonsai tree is complete, and I'm so happy with it. However, I decide to go all out and make a complete tablescape or vignette with my bonsai tree. And I pull in the tray that I purchased at the thrift store. I placed the bonsai on top of the tray, and then I began to add small pebbles and rocks all around the tray until I was happy with the way that they looked. Once all the pebbles and rocks were evenly distributed, I added more floral foam to the bowl with the bonsai in it because I'm going to be adding moss to the top and also more pebbles and stones. So I just cut the floral foam into smaller pieces and added it all around the bowl. I love using this paint scraping tool to cut the foam. It works perfectly, and it's so easy to cut the exact sizes of foam that you need when you use this little paint scraping tool. I cut a strip of moss on the mat, and from there I'm going to be cutting smaller pieces to fit all around the top of the bonsai bowl. I fit the pieces in, and some of them are not straight. I want them with a little mound on top of them. And others are straight. But I want it to look interesting when I add the rocks and the pebbles. And I hot glue each piece until I've completely covered the top of the floral foam. I also glue some of the floral foam into the bowl. I glue pebbles and rocks onto the top of the moss until I'm happy with the look that I have around the complete container. I keep adding and sorting the pebbles and the rocks on the tray and the bonsai until I'm happy with the way that they look. And unfortunately, they covered up my ancient roots. And you don't see this because I did it off camera, but I took those twigs that I cut from the tree and I glued them to the base of the trunk upside down to bring back the ancient roots. And I absolutely love the outcome and the way that this looks. I'm so happy with the way that the bonsai tree turned out, along with the container on the tray with the moss and the pebbles and the roots. All I need to do is add the Japanese figurine to the tablescape or vignette, and this project will be finished. I absolutely love the way the roots turned out. I'm so glad that I saved the twigs and added them back on to the trunk of the tree. I love the tray with the stones in it. I think it goes beautifully with the stones inside of the container for the bonsai. And I put a piece of white poster board behind it so that you can better see how it looks. And then I add the Japanese figurine, and this project is complete. All I need to do is add it to my upstairs hallway where there's a small table, and that's where she's going to stay. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it, and I hope that this inspires you to make something beautiful. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification button, and you'll be notified the next time that I post a video. Until then, I will see you next time.